2026, and the dream of personal flight looks like it's finally arrived.
That's right.
Pete, tell us what we're looking here with this.
Yeah, so this is the LEO JetBike. LEO JetBike is a single-seat ultralight, Part 103, FAA Part 103 ultralight, defined by something that's 254 pounds or less, 63 miles per hour or less. This one has a range of about 10 to 15 minutes with current batteries, and those can be upgraded over time as battery technology gets better. But made for a single person, can land in a parking space. It uses 48 clustered electric jets. It can fly on 32 of them, so 16 can be out, depending on where they are, at the same time and still be able to be safe. So a huge amount of redundancy. No exposed propeller blades, very concentrated thrust, about 960 pounds of total thrust on this aircraft. And it's relatively quiet, about 80 decibels, so you don't get that buzzing drone sound. It's more of a jet whoosh, and it's much lower frequency, lower register. It can park in a garage or in a parking space. It can land in a parking space next to other cars without damaging or worrying about hurting anything else. It can sit in the bed of like a mid-size pickup, like a Ford F-150 or a Toyota Tacoma for transportation if you want to take it somewhere. Again, it weighs about 254 pounds, and yeah, it charges with like a standard NACS electric vehicle charger.
Who's the market for this?
It's really anybody, anybody that has an imagination. So if you're wanting to use it for commuting from suburbs to urban areas, again, 10 to 15 miles range roughly, and that's as the crow flies. So people think 10 to 15 miles, well, my commute is longer than that, but yeah, you're thinking about driving around. And it's like a 20-mile drive is really like a 10-mile flight most of the times in urban environment especially. So, you know, it becomes useful as a personal commuter to and from work. Also for like first responders, law enforcement, paramedics, fire rescue, that kind of thing. It can fly underneath a tree canopy in a forest fire, for example, to try to rescue someone or help somebody, or get you know, instead of parachuting your firefighters into a zone, they could fly in and fly out of an area instead of being trapped in a forest fire. So there's opportunities all over the place for applications for this thing.
And from a regulatory standpoint, is it similar to what a regular drone would be, like 400-foot flight ceiling?
No, it's actually completely different. It's designed to be primarily a manned aircraft, so you don't have those restrictions that you do with drones.
So there's no flight height?
There's no altitude limitation, no. However, we are limiting the initial settings for this thing to about 15 feet off the ground until you get comfortable with flying it. So it's for safety reasons we do that.
Yeah, and let's talk to that, because I imagine software is a huge part of that, and I want to talk to that. But first, talk about the safety and the aspects. You know, you get someone who thinks they're the next Waldo Pepper.
We are setting it up to where it can't go faster than the 63-mile-an-hour limit, which means the tilt forward to accelerate is limited by the angle of attack. So we have adjusted that so that you can only roll so far, you can only tilt so far, so that you don't get in any trouble. And it's self-correcting, it's self-stabilizing, it's easy to control. It's got an altitude hold setting on the left joystick that you basically set your altitude and you leave it, and then you control everything with your right stick with one hand. So it's very simple, very intuitive. If you can fly a drone or fly a video game, you know, aircraft, you can fly this thing.
And from a weather condition standpoint, will it be, say, no, it's too windy or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, we've tested in like up to 40-mile-an-hour winds, so pretty decent winds. I mean, I wouldn't be out there in 50 or 60-mile-an-hour winds just for obvious reasons. You only go 63 miles an hour, so if you're bucking a 50-mile-an-hour wind, you're not going very fast. But yeah, you have to be conscious of the weather. And maybe light rain. I wouldn't go in like a major downpour in this thing, at least at this point. Not because the motors can't take the water, they can actually operate underwater, but mostly for performance purposes, because if you're pushing a lot of water through it, you're not going to get a lot of performance out of it.
Sure, that makes sense. You mentioned you're in Indiana, so tell us a little bit about the company.
Yeah, so we're a small company. We've got probably 12 employees altogether, so really small. We own a little airport with a little manufacturing facility. We just got a grant from our state and have ordered a bunch of manufacturing equipment to go into production on this aircraft starting next month. And so we are going to be building a bunch of test units in the spring, We're going to perform 1,000 test flights, and we're going to have that in a gallery on our website that people can see every single test flight. So it's very transparent, and we will have that in a way that gives us a degree of safety and confidence that when we hand it over to a customer, which we'll start manufacturing for customers probably in the summer and delivery in the fall, that should be our schedule. So we're taking pre-orders right now. It's the cost of the aircraft is $99,900, so under $100,000 price point. It's 5 digits, which is comparable to the price of a boat or a high-end off-terrain off-road vehicle or whatever. But it's designed to be accessible. That compares really well with our competitors. Our competitors are anywhere from $140,000 and up. We're substantially less than that. But we also have an aircraft that will last you, thousands of hours between overhauls, and the overhauls are a simple change of bearings in each engine that costs like $100 an engine. So for a couple $1,000, you've got a brand new aircraft every 10 or 15 years, at which point your battery technology is probably better, where you can just put different batteries in and fly twice, 3 times as long, right? So that's what we're kind of building for non-obsolescence. And we're trying to keep our promises. So we're saying we're going to deliver this year. We are going to deliver this year to our customers.
I would imagine one of the real secret sauces for safety and just for flying is the software, right?
Some degree. It's really simple software though.
Really?
It's just like a drone software. It's kind of an open source base, and then we add our tunes to it. So yeah.
Is there any obstacle detection or anything like that?
We can add that. Some people want that, some people don't want that from our experience with talking to customers. So if you want to land in a parking space next to other cars or fly into your garage, you can do that with this. Obstacle avoidance would prevent you from doing that. Sure. So depends on your application, but that can be added very easily as an accessory.
Excellent. Well, it looks like the sky's the limit. I mean, I had to say it. But,
no, thank you.
No, this is terrific, and congratulations on the debut here at CES
Appreciate
2026.
that so much.
Thanks.